Hey fellow cinephiles, welcome back. I'm back with another video today. We can finally get going with this recording now that my earbuds are not extremely deafening my sense of hearing to the point where I have ringing for the next 5 minutes and had to change into El Cheapes. Today we are reviewing Tenet. Just got back from watching Tenet and I'm going to do my thoughts and I'll give a rating on it. This is going to be a spoiler-free review. If you want a spoiler review, make sure to let me know in the comments and I'll come out with one. But this is going to be spoiler-free, so it's mostly going to be overviews. If I talk about any sequences, it's going to be stuff you've seen in trailers or stuff that doesn't give anything away. So, obviously people know Tenet, the new Christopher Nolan film, includes Robert Pattinson, Kenneth Branagh. I mean, just overall good cast, group of people, and it's a journey of a movie. It's like a roller coaster of sorts but it's like an inverted roller coaster. I use the word inverted. People who watch that movie don't know what inverted is. It's like an inverted roller coaster because originally you go up, up, and then down. Well, it's like this roller coaster starts you off going down. Then you go back up, down a little bit, up, down a little bit, and you go up for this amazing thing and then down. But when you finally go down, it's like an epic down. It's an entertaining down. Whereas the original down, it's a bit of a sludge. It's a lot to decipher and latch onto. So let's just get into what I thought was good about the film. A lot of the performances. There wasn't necessarily a bad performance in the film per se. I would say the best performance, it's a tough one. I'm going to give the slight edge to Kenneth Branagh for best performance in the film. Then, can't believe I'm going to have to look this up because I am so unbelievably smart. Not. Let's see. Freaking genius over here. I went and I want to be a filmmaker. Well, that's awesome. What'd you do? I went and watched a movie today. That's great. Can't even quote the cast. Such an awesome person. Awesome. So Elizabeth Debicki, she had a good performance in the film. I would say she's probably second best behind Kenneth Branagh. Then I would go. It's different between Pattinson or John David Washington, the lead versus Pattinson. Upon reflection, I guess I'll give it to John David Washington, only because he has the more screen time, the more fleshed out, but I feel like they did a better job with Pattinson's character. But you don't get to really see a lot of that fruition till the end. Not going to spoil anything of what happens. Just know that if you think his character is a little bit underwhelming or they're not really explaining too much about him, you'll come to learn as you just power through, latch on, follow the journey. You'll learn more about his character as the story progresses. And it's got a lot of turns. I wouldn't quite call them all twists because some people could pick up on them. It still surprises. They don't treat it as if it's something you're supposed to already know, and it makes sense for certain people to be blown away by it. I was, in the moment, I was caught up and surprised at some of the events that happened and some of the reveals, and I reflected back on it, I'm like, yeah, it made sense to go that route, but if a plot twist makes sense and it surprises you maybe one time and doesn't any other times, it's still effective. Of course you want those plot twists that blow you away but also make sense. It's hard to do that because a plot twist that blows you away is something you don't expect, but a plot twist that makes sense, you kind of have to expect it as well. So it's an interesting combination. But did I enjoy the film? I enjoyed the film. If the trailers interested you and you know a place close to where you are, then check out the film. Do you want to do a road trip? I mean, if you want to get people together and go on a road trip, I'd say no less than 2-3 hour drive max. It's not worth a 4 or 5 hour drive. Very few films are. Wait, if you have to drive 4 or 5 hours to go see it, I would wait till a theater that is more closer to where you are carries the movie, and then go see it there. And the protocol, I will also say, at the theater was good. You know, you had to wear masks. The ticket booth wasn't even selling tickets. You had to go to the concessions to buy tickets, and every other stand was open. So not all the concession lines were open. Some were restricted. You can only go in like every other one. And then you had to be 6 feet apart, of course, wear the masks. And so yeah, if you wanted a ticket, you'd have to let them know, and you had to buy tickets there along with concessions. So it's probably because they didn't want to touch that interface, which makes sense. So yeah, really good cleanliness there. Also, the air filtration in all the theater rooms is getting cranked up 200%, which means it's cycling twice as fast as typical. So the air is getting, sucked in and re-put back in, and filtration, air filtration, twice as fast. So if you're worried about is it safe? Think about it. Is there a film you really want to see? Are you willing to wear a mask and keep 6 feet apart? Because the building and the people who run the building and the corporation, they're doing their part. If you do yours, take the gamble and go see it. It's not like you're putting your life on the line. The corporation's doing their part. As long as you do yours, you'll be fine. So that goes. So I kind of differentiated and went into the Regal side. But before that, I was mentioning the good. The performances, the action sequences, the score. I thought was good as well. Now, getting into what I think were the mixed aspects. The mixed aspects, I wouldn't quite say pacing. I would say the plot or the script is mixed, because there are moments where they focus on characters or events or why a character is the way they are that are very powerful, they very hit you in the gut. That there's an emotional weight, a lot of there's themes in this movie. Of course, every movie has themes. I'm not going to get into what they are, but they interested me. I thought they were pretty cool. The themes, I felt they were similar to prior Nolan films, but not too similar. They took a different turn on it. If you want to know those similarities, again, that would have to be in a spoiler talk for this film. That's why I say it's a roller coaster. It has a lot of highs. The highs grow. There are more highs as you get closer to the end, as opposed to the beginning. If you watch the first 30 to 40 minutes, you're probably going to struggle to latch on. But if you pay attention, give it a shot, try to pay attention, try to understand, think, but don't think too much, because you don't want to run away in your own thoughts while the story is happening in front of you, right? Then about halfway through, things will start to be a little bit clearer for you, and then things will always get better. Wow, I'm just running all kinds of difficulties today. Is that better? Jeez. This video is going to be awful because I don't know what I'm doing. I take a week off of YouTube and it's like I started all over again. The joy of being crappy. So the mixed aspects. Now into the bad portions of the film. The bad of this movie, sound mixing. Like, it's bad. The sound mixing is really bad. And portions of editing, like the music and the sound effects they're so loud that at times you struggle to hear what the actors are saying. And so there are probably lines of dialogue that I couldn't catch on to in the beginning, which is what made it so difficult for me to grasp on. So not only is the premise very, a rewatchable premise in the sense that it's got those action sequences to keep you entertained. It's got good visuals, it's got a good score, it's got some nice character moments and nice script moments to keep that rewatchability there. But also, it needs that rewatch. It needs that ability, and that it beckons for that to truly be understood and praised, it needs that rewatch. So for me, I would say rewatch it. This would be one of those movies you gotta watch, and if you even enjoy it in the slightest, rewatch it to fully understand. I've only watched it one time. I doubt I'll be able to rewatch it in theaters, so I'll have to wait until Blu-ray. So my overall thoughts upon reflecting, it is in my top 3 of Christopher Nolan films, but I'll wait before I lock it in my top 3. It is 3rd place. It's not 2nd or 1st. It could fall, but I don't see it falling. He's made, what would I say, 11 movies now, correct? I don't see it. It definitely isn't going to be 10th or 11th. It's going to be at the worst 4th or 5th. It is one of his better ones if you can pay attention, because of the ride and the reveals, and the story gets to become clearer by the 2nd and 3rd acts. And to the people who think the story is too complex, or story shouldn't be complex, you're going to complain also, though, if the entire film is being spoon-fed to you. If every single piece of information is being narrated or told to you or said to you by a character, then it's going to make you seem like the people think you're a dumbass. So there's no real balance. Nolan takes the story, a typical story. What Nolan does is he takes a genre or subgenre that you're used to seeing, throws a mind-bending twist to it, and then when he executes the story, he doesn't spoon-feed it to you. He gives you things that are spoon-fed. He gives you character moments. He gives you script moments. He gives you powerful moments to keep you invested. But also that overall story is not spoon-fed. You have to think. You have to pay attention. If you do not, you will be lost. If you take a bathroom break because your bladder's about to bust and walk back into the movie, you're not going to understand what the hell happened. It's going to look like you walked in a different movie on a different planet on a different universe. So that is my review for Tenet. I would say out of 10, I'll give it a solid 8. Not a strong 8, a solid 8. But if that's sound mixing, if after I watch it a 2nd or 3rd time, if I cannot understand what the actors are saying still after knowing, like, okay, oh, this scene has some bad sound mixing or some bad sound editing, I gotta pay more attention to this to try to hear what these actors are saying, because I know that dialogue, like, the acting was good. I know some people said that the accents were kind of off. Like, the accents made sense considering the characters, how they were written, and, you know, the world and travel and time travel and the power, the positions of power that these people are in. It made sense for the accents to be the way that they were. So it wasn't bad writing for the accents to be there. I think the reason why the people didn't like the accents was the music and the sound effects over top of it was just too loud. Like, I don't understand why. Like, the film was ready to come out in, like, what, June-ish? So if you're telling me a movie was ready to come out 2-3 months ago, and that's the problem, like, the sound mixing, what was the sound mixing 2-3 months ago? So, I don't know, but I'll give it an 8 out of 10, an optimistic 8 out of 10. I did really enjoy it. If you're a Christopher Nolan fan, go see it. You will enjoy it. Is it worth a road trip? A mini road trip. Are the theaters safe? Yes, they are safe. That is my review. Thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed this and you enjoy film reviews and film talk, consider liking and subscribing. I really appreciate you sticking with the channel, and I'm trying to bring my podcast back from the dead almost, where we talk about paranormal, gaming, film, and rock music. So all of those meshed into one massive one-stop shop podcast for you guys, and I'm really excited to try and get that going while I try to get some guests on for that. So again, if you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Much appreciated. See you in the next one.